Hello, podcast world. Welcome to Fully Dressed, episode 6, take 3, I think it is. Today is October 4th at 4:15 p.m. We have our first official guest. It is our long-term friend, Mr. Hicks. And with me is Star Rookies, my co-host. And Hicks has brought us a story he wants to discuss, so let's go to it. Here we are.
Have you heard this one yet, Duck?
I have not.
Interesting, isn't
I would
it?
like to hear it. Let's bring it on. This would give me
Well-
some great pleasure.
Well, we know Terry Rozier, Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, they were arrested in connection with alleged gambling schemes.
Yes.
And we're pretty sure that this is all true. This is an investigation that was started back during the Biden administration. Now, the DOJ here has brought charges, and they've done the arrest, the allegations. They were sealed indictments. We don't know, but there is, let's read here what this says. Unverified social media posts on X have linked Senator Cory Booker to the scandal. One post on X claimed in a stunning development early this morning, Terry Rozier was arrested, blah, 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 blah. However, no credible evidence supports. It says there, the probe revealed that this criminal scheme traces back to Senator Cory Booker, who conspired with Rozier to profit from inside knowledge of NBA outcomes. However, no credible evidence supports these claims. A fact check by Grok said no claim linking Cory Booker to the NBA's gambling scheme lacks credible evidence. Okay, there is no credible evidence because they haven't named any witnesses or anything, I'm assuming. What do you know about this, Hicks?
I just saw briefly this morning. I was getting ready for work. I haven't dove too much into it, but I sports gamble myself. It's legal in Ohio. I do quite a lot of it. I enjoy it. I do it for fun, but it's not far-fetched for it to be true. I mean, you're supposed to have 3 3-pointers. What happens if you put your foot on the line on that last one? Make it a 3 and 2 instead of the open shot. You drive it. Here's an extra $150,000.
Well, and the one thing that I saw was that the over under, and I can see that would be difficult to do in baseball. That would be difficult to do in football, but in basketball,
yes and no. Well, I mean, look at football. The Chiefs and Detroit. All of a sudden, you get a phone call from New York. Oh, Jared Goff wasn't set. Take that touchdown off the board.
Well, plus they also stated this past weekend, I can't remember what game it was. I want to say it was a Detroit game where they said that the coach was very aware of the spread. Whatever game it was where they scored a last-minute touchdown or last-second field goal where it wasn't needed, but they did it anyway, and they said the coach was very aware of the spread. So,
yeah, I'm not sure what team it is, but yeah, they were down by like 28 or something like that, and they kicked a field goal.
Right. So they're like,
and that field goal hit the over, I'm assuming.
I would assume so.
It got a lot of people that were saying that the spread was, say it was 14, and they were at 13.9 or 13 and a half or whatever. It took them over that level to get the win. But the thing that befuddles me, which is crazy, is Terry Rozier, who is not like an NBA star. He's been around.
No, he was not.
His salary this year with the Miami Heat was $26 million.
Ridiculous.
For this
and why
year.
are you gambling?
To earn a share
fun.
of $200,000. But apparently they have text messages from his phone stating, on this game, I'm going to play less than 9 minutes. And then somebody in his circle sent out a bunch of text messages, make sure you're bet heavy on this. And then apparently after the game, the money was delivered to his home where he divvied it up. So
well, here's the easy part of it. If Rozier, you bet the over 12 points in a game, and he goes out after 9 minutes after scoring 3 with an injury that is questionable, then you can say, what if all of his buddies bet the under on him on that particular game? That's an easy gimme.
Yeah. And he told people, I'm playing 9 minutes or less. And then he had
they allegedly,
but they have text messages apparently. And he was like, suddenly had a foot injury. And then he was out of the game, and he hit all the numbers he was like projected to hit were all under. And there was like a massive amount of bets placed on him hitting under those numbers. But then you also have LeBron James, who apparently is not involved, but the third participant, the NBA coach for Cavaliers, he played Damon Jones, was an unpaid assistant on the Lakers who was friends with LeBron because he played with LeBron and coached LeBron in Cleveland. And he would call LeBron in the morning, and LeBron's like, well, it hasn't been announced, but I'm not playing today. So I'm taking a day off just to rest or whatever. And then Damon Jones would call his people and say, bet big on him this game because he's not playing. It's not been announced till game time. And make sure you bet enough for daddy to eat.
That's a far cry. That's a far cry from, oops, I twisted my ankle and I can't finish the game.
Those are, but exactly, but they're still the same thing.
Yeah, because if you have inside information that a superstar is not going to play, that's a heavy indication
and it's not announced.
Right.
So I agree with Hicks on that. Like, if you have information that the all-time
general public
is not going to play,
I agree with you, but this particular story focuses on something a little different from that. This is a coordinated mafia style. These people, the mafia guys, are named in this. Some of the old families that you haven't heard of for years are named in this.
That's on the poker side.
Yeah, that's on the poker side of it. Yep.
This started with the poker
okay.
team that started where apparently they were wearing contact lenses that could see through the cards. And
they could see markings on the back of the cards that you couldn't see with the naked eye.
But they also had a table that would let you, through your glasses, see what the cards were. And then they had a card dealing. I've been to Vegas a lot. I don't know if you've been there or not, Hicks, but they have this little machine that it
shuffles the cards.
Shuffles a deck for you.
Yep.
They used to play with 2 decks. Now they play with 4. Shuffles them all up. But this machine was programmed for where each person was sitting, and they basically assigned seats without the people knowing they were in assigned seats. So the machine was set up to know what cards were being played to who and when.
Well, the machine was set up, and it recorded what order all of the cards were in, and somehow that information was fed to the other players in the game.
They also had cameras in the chandeliers. They had the contact lens. Like, this was
there's no question that it was a crooked from the facts that have been shown. Absolutely rigged and
right. And it was not at a casino. These were private poker matches where they were using like Chauncey Billups
to draw these people in.
He was what they called a face card, so they could use him to attract people to play. And like apparently one game, a guy lost $1.8 million. But then it was run by the Bonanno, the Genovese, the whatever these crime families are, and it somehow that leaked over into these NBA players throwing games or taking themselves out of games, And then I just heard a story where there was a referee that had been called out by multiple players over the last few years, and now they're going back like 10 years on this guy going, we've had complaints about this guy for years, throwing games, calling wrong calls or whatever. So now they're like, okay, this is bigger than just Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier and Damon Jones. This could be widespread.
It's going deep.
And it's very deep. My question is like, okay, so Terry Rozier makes $26 million. You're not going to gamble losing that for your cut of 200,000. So
but that's just one instance. I mean, how many 200,000 cuts does he get?
Good point. Or did one of the mafia guys say, do this or else? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you get in with the wrong crowd.
I don't think they were outwardly threatened to do it. I think they did something corrupt that the mafia people know about and say, if you don't do this, we're going to do this.
We're going to blackmail you. Yeah, blackmail.
Right. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, we'll break your leg or we'll ruin your career. And apparently this has been going, they've been investigating this for 3 years. And they have something with Terry Rozier back in 22 or 23 when they started watching him. So
I say it probably what they have on him goes back even further than that.
Oh, I'm sure. But I'm just saying, like, you do something once, you get away with it. You're like, damn, I was scary. You do it again, you get away with it. You're like, I wasn't so bad. Do it 5 more times. You're like, oh, nobody knows what I'm doing. And then
I saw something the other day where in the 90s, the mafia crime families numbered 15 to 17,000 members. Now they're down to 3,000 or 4,000 members. So they brought their troops down into more of a technical style mafia than a go out and we'll provide this store protection. You give us $500 a week.
They're saying this is in the $10 to $100 million range over the last 2 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So this is not a small operation. So
no,
I don't think you take Chauncey Billups, who's an NBA head coach, Hall of Famer, makes $5 or $6 million a year as a coach, and go, we're going to give you $100,000 a week or whatever as your cut. I think it was more of like he was afraid not to do it. That's my opinion.
And I think they had something they're holding over his head.
I think this is just actually getting started.
It's going to be a big story. I mean, but just like that's what they say, when you have a lot of money, you want more money. I mean, you could say he makes $26 million a year, but what kind of lifestyle is he living?
Yeah, I know what I make. I live way above it. When I made way more money, my lifestyle got different. I lived above that. So are these guys literally living above $26 million a year? Like, to me, that sounds absurd. Maybe to them, that's normal life. Yeah,
right.
I don't know. You know what I mean? But I just think that's so crazy. You would put your entire career, because you get caught, you're blackballed for life.
Like a lot of people do it in all professions, though, all the time. Like I'm an accountant. How many scandals have you heard of financial people doing shady shit to make a couple extra dollars?
Yeah. I mean,
and it ain't worth it.
The restaurant guy. How many people did we know that did filter seat? For extra $6 or $8 or $10 a shift, knowing if you get caught, you're getting fired, and you're making say $300 a day, and you're going to do this to get an extra $20.
Because they never think they're going to get caught.
Right. It's so either you did not think you were getting caught, or you were threatened, or something is being held over you to make you do it. But to me, this is like a huge story for me, because I'm a sports guy. So to me, I think this is a huge story this week. Like I want to see, and I don't know why, but I wanted to see, like in politics, I want Hillary to get arrested or Barack Obama to get arrested. I want it to be huge. So this, as much as I love sports, I don't want this to be the end of it. I want it to be like, let's see who else is involved. I want to know, like,
But that's where the tie-in to Cory Booker, if that holds true,
I hope it does.
Then we've got government corruption involved in the NBA scandal, which leads into my whole QAnon shit, where all of this stuff is coming together. And I believe by the 4th of July next year, we're going to see a completely different world. I know y'all think I'm crazy.
QAnon shit.
I'm going to send you some more tinfoil rookies.
Okay. I got it. I'll get my tinfoil hat, and
it's got to be in a point though, or it doesn't work.
I think all of Congress is corrupt, not just for the sports stuff. I mean, you look at a lot of these, like even Pelosi. How much money has she made in the stock market?
Yeah.
And how much has she not made in the last year and a half? I think there's always inside trading, but I mean, look at even Republicans. I mean, you start in Congress, you make what, $100,000 a year, but how is your net worth $7 million now?
You know what I mean?
100%.
There's insider training, and that's why Martha Stewart went to jail for 8 months.
She went to jail for $200,000.
That wasn't corruption. That was having inside information. When you're talking about people that are creating laws and regulations and profiting, that's corruption. That's completely different from so if Martha Stewart can go to jail for 8 months for what she did, these people need to go to prison for a long period of time.
Oh, but
or just share the link with me. I want in on it.
Yeah, or let me
make some money.
Or I'll find my own way. Just let me do it and don't send me to prison for it. Like the Pelosi's are worth $250 million, and the last 5 years, his trading numbers outpace Warren Buffett, who is without argument the greatest stock trader in the history of the world. But yet Nancy Pelosi's husband has a higher trading percentage of success than he does. So like, what the hell? Like, and she's on the committees that allow her to do this, and she takes home information, gives him, he trades it, gets the money, but it's okay because she's a government official. But Martha Stewart doesn't and goes to prison. She's freaking home, or what was it, home care or whatever the hell it is. And you're going to send her to prison, but it's okay for you. So what they say, okay for thee, but not for me. But this whole thing with the NBA, and now I think there's refs involved. I read this morning there's a ref, but I think there's a college referee for the football games that got pulled.
Yeah, the SEC is looking into a guy. They suspended him from all games because of the Georgia-Alabama game, I believe. He made 11 calls. None of them were shit. So they're kind of looking did he have something going on with that or not? But it's also, as the Ohio State Buckeyes fan, that's the same ref in 2019 against Clemson, had some very questionable calls that may or may not have cost the Buckeyes the Fiesta Bowl, a potential national championship.
And I watched that game, and I agree with you 100%. But even last summer, if you remember, the coach, I want to say from Alabama or Georgia, he was one of those two schools, was making calls from the bench during his games, making bets against his own team and giving insider information to the gamblers or to the bookies or what have you, and then throwing his own games. And and it was happening in Cincinnati at the I think it was the Horseshoe, it might be the Hard Rock now, whatever it is in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But his buddy was in that casino. So this, I think, is way more wide ranging than we think or know of right now. And they're screwing people out of money. They're ruining this part of our lives.
I'm more concerned about the government corruption than I am the NBA because I don't care about the NBA. Doug Hicks, appreciate you joining us. We're at the 20-minute mark. I think we're going to take a break now and move on to a couple other stories that we have now. But you have a safe journey and you enjoy yourself.
I will, gentlemen. I'm getting ready to pull off anyway to get gas and stretch my legs. I'm about halfway through my trip. You guys enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Well, thanks for being
Text
our
me
first
when you make it
guest.
home safe.
Yeah, thanks for being our first guest. We definitely want you to come back. We'll do it in a more formal setting, so it won't be you in your car.
Yeah, I hope I'm not driving and I can drink.
Yeah,
I got a plethora of Crown to share with you guys.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
We look forward to that. We appreciate you being on. Thanks for your insight, and have fun at the farm. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right, gentlemen, you enjoy.
All right, thanks.
Later, brother.
Later.
Pause.
All right, welcome back, everybody. As a short break, we just had our good friend Hicks on with us. He was kind enough to join us on his trip to the family farm in not Central Ohio, but Southwest Ohio, and gave us a great story to talk about, the NBA gambling. So we have way much more to talk about than that. I have a few things I want to discuss. Number one being, I have not been shy about my thoughts on Zoran the moron, Mamdani the commie. And this morning, the New York Knicks sent out a cease and desist order to him and his party for using a logo similar to their logo. They made it absolutely clear that they do not support him. They do not agree with any of his policies, and they want him and his party to stop using their logo for his campaign for mayor of New York City. So early voting in New York starts on Saturday morning, and he is currently the projected winner, even though it hasn't even started voting yet. But he leads. He beat Cuomo by, I think, 13%, which is surprising. But he is still projected to be the winner unless something crazy happens. I think that, I love New York City. I will not ever go to California, Oregon, Washington State, or New York again until they fix their problems. And all of his free healthcare, free and faster buses, government-owned grocery stores, rent freezing and stabilization. The guy lives in a rent-stabilized apartment. He is a multimillionaire from multimillionaire parents. He is a communist, socialist, admitted, and he also is a Muslim extremist, and he was campaigning with somebody that was involved in the 9/11 terrorist attacks. So for those imbeciles to vote him into office for what was once the greatest city in our country and possibly the world, that city is going to be in shambles if he wins. Shambles. And they've already made the statements like, you will not be bailed out by the government. If your city goes into ruins, that's on you. You've been told. And one of the things that's so confounding to me is it is.
All right, real quick, share my screen. So there's the logo that you're talking about.
Yes.
So the Knicks have sued the Mandami campaign to stop using that logo. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
And here, Mandami embraces radical man linked to
The 93
World Trade Center bombing.
Wasn't
Okay.
9/11, my fault, but and he left his campaign for 3 weeks to go back to his home country of Uganda, where his parents live. And he was photographed with, I believe it was the president of that country, and it's a woman who is anti-gay. She wants to lock up or execute all gay people because she doesn't believe that they should exist. He's anti-Jew. He hates America. He's anti-capitalism. And yet people are going to vote for him. And New York City is the largest concentration of Jewish people on the earth, more so than Israel. You have more Jews in New York City than you have in Israel. How is it possible that they can be outvoted? How is that possible? And I heard yesterday that there is 9 Democrats. It's 9-1 Democrats to Republican. That's the percentage. So like a Republican is not going to win. So you had Giuliani. You had Cuomo, the first Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo. I think he was a Republican, right? You had Bloomberg, who's a Republican. So how do those guys get in? But now you have, it's 9-1 Democrats. So I don't think there's even a chance. So for like Curtis.
Well, you saw yesterday Mayor Adams with Cuomo and him giving him his full-throated endorsement.
2 weeks before the camp, like before voting.
Well,
like,
and he dropped out a month and a half ago.
Right.
And
so what harm did that do? A lot.
I hope that the polls are all wrong, and I can't believe that I want this Cuomo guy instead of the Democrat. But the Democrat is, I agree, he's got socialist perspectives. He's tied to people that are questionable. His ideas are not cost effective. They're going to cost a lot of money. People are going to move out. They already have. I think it's a bad day for New York City if come this election, Mandami ends up being the mayor.
It's going to be awful. It's going to be awful. I think that New York City, to me, is the beacon of our country. It's not now, but that was the money center of the earth.
I have a tough time with the speculators who say it's going to be this, that, or the other, because we know how many people said it was the stock market's going to crash. We're going to have huge inflation if you let Trump become president.
I think that's drastically different than what we're talking about here.
Right, because you support one side, not the other.
Not written. That's not why. I think that the Trump campaign and presidency is nowhere in the same boat as Mamdani. They were saying, "Oh, he's going to do this. He's going to give his rich friends more money and more breaks." And okay, this guy is an admitted socialist, communist, anti-Jew. Like I think there's drastically different measures.
Okay, plus, I won't argue with you.
He's 33. He's never even had a job. He's never even had a job that produced a pay stub.
I heard a news person say yesterday, it might have been in the interview with Brett Baird. I don't think it was. How would he handle a COVID situation as mayor of New York. Now, we know Cuomo didn't do very well. Was it Cuomo?
Yeah, it was Cuomo. He fucking put all those old people in a nursing home and killed them all.
Yeah.
There's
So
13, sex abuse scandals under his watch. Yeah, so. I mean, it's bad or worse. So I am not a Cuomo fan by any stretch. If I would live in New York City, I'd be voting for Curtis Sliwa, or however you say his name, the Greg Angels guy. But he's a Republican. He don't stand a chance because he's Republican.
No, he's not.
He doesn't stand a chance.
And I don't think he helps out Cuomo enough if he drops out. I'm just hoping there's enough votes out there that aren't being counted by the prognosticators, and Mamdani just doesn't win. But
I think they said 5 weeks before the primary, Mamdani had 1% and Cuomo had 47%. And then 4 weeks later, Mamdani had 47% and Cuomo had like 26% or 27%. So I'm hoping that something like that happens, because I just can't understand. I can't fathom how you look at somebody like that and you're still going to vote for him because you're a Democrat.
I don't argue with you.
I don't understand that. And then Kathy Hochul, who says, well, I don't agree with what he says, but he has a lot of enthusiasm. I'm like, that's what you're going to base your support of? Like, that city is about to be the next Chicago and next LA, but it will be worse. And they've already been told, you will not get a bailout. We're not coming to fix it. So in some weird perversion in my brain, I want to see that. I want to see it be so destructive to them. But then that city alone affects the rest of our country. But I want, like, would that actually wake people up? But then you look at people like Portland and Chicago, there are people that still support those leaders. So there are people out there that think that the way Chicago is right now, and the way Portland is, and the way LA is, and most of California is, that's how they want it to be. So maybe we're missing something. I don't know. So I know it was supposed to be a short take, but that just pisses me off. Like, I
understand.
How stupid can you be?
Won't argue that with you.
And then we talked about the gambling scandal with Hicks. I just I love sports so much. I was a big sports was a huge part of my life. My brother Don, God rest his soul, was a superstar basketball player. I admit readily that he got all the skill set in our family. I tried. I played most, if not all, the sports in high school. Obviously wasn't very good, but it was a huge part of my life. Like baseball, especially, I played from 6 years old up until I graduated high school. It was a huge part of my life. And back then, it was a big deal. Like, you gamble on baseball, like, you will be banned for life. It was not a joke.
Yeah, Pete Rose.
Yeah. And they started doing all these gambling became accepted, and they started doing these parlays, and it used to be who's going to win, what's the over under of this game, whatever. Now it's like you can bet on the next pitch. And I think that opens it up so much to so many avenues of corruption. And I think it makes it harder in one way to find and catch. But I think, again, on the other side, with so many people involved and all these companies involved, I think it has to be easier to catch those things when you see an anomaly of a huge bet or multiple bets that equal a huge bet on some of these different parlays and player speculations on what they're going to do, score, rebound, that kind of thing. So I'm very, very curious about that. I would be heartbroken if a Bengal gets involved in this scandal somehow. That will hurt.
For you, maybe. For me, and I've said this for the last decade and a half or so, once free agency became crazy, when you're on my team, I root for you because I root for the Bengals. But you go to another team, I'm done with you. You're not my favorite player anymore. I respect what you did for us. It was fun. Thank you. But Andy Dalton is still playing football. I don't follow him. I don't root for him. I loved him when he was here, but I was okay with him being replaced.
Right, but I don't want Joe Burrow to get caught up in this. I don't want Jamar Chase to get caught up in this. And I don't want, I love the Reds. I used to play wiffle ball in my backyard, and we was one-on-one with one of my brothers, and I would beat every player on the Reds, and I would bat. If you're left-handed, I'm batting from the left side, right-handed, right side. And I played all the positions. I did all that kind of thing because I loved him so much, and I don't want that to be tarnished. My thoughts about the way I love those games to be tarnished from a scandal like this. But if you're cheating, then you're cheating.
Yep.
And, I'm not going to mention his name, but when we used to go golfing back when we lived in Huntington, and we had a friend of ours who would go golfing with us, and we would golf, and Wade and I would play, and we had some beers and stuff, and it was a par 3, and I would shoot a 7 or an 8. I'm like, I think it was a 7 or an 8 or whatever. And then you would have somebody that and you're watching him play would shoot a 7 or an 8 and write down a 4. I'm like, you're not improving yourself. You're not beating me legitimately. Is that still a win for you? You know what I mean? Like, you're cheating. How do you go home and be like, yeah, I kicked his ass? You didn't. You cheated. So that's how I feel about this. If you're cheating, get out. If it deserves jail time, then lock their asses up.
Then send them away.
Yep. So if you're a cheater, get out. So that's how I feel about it. So do you have anything else to add on that, or?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I don't root for the player. I root for the team.
And then a little bit for the player. But if, like you said, the player leaves, I hate you, especially if you go to the Steelers or the Browns. Then you do not.
Bengals beat the Steelers in a big game last week. Oh my God.
Yep. And what's the first time 2 40-plus-year-olds played against each other?
I don't think that's accurate.
I think it is. 2 quarterbacks.
Yep, I don't think it is.
So, and then the last thing I want to talk about, and this is not a huge story. It was to me only because I read so much, and I try to take in everything I can because I want to know. I don't want to be caught off guard when you ask me a question about something. To be honest with you, so I try to be so prepared. Because I'm like, he's going to bring something to the table that I'm not ready for. So I'm like, I'm going to be ready and read and pay attention to so much stuff. So this is like a smaller story that I came across. And it just reinforced my thoughts on, like, if you, say, got into a scuffle when you were in high school and you got your ass beat, it was over. You shook hands, you walked away, you realized, okay, you got me. You beat me. I'm done. We'll move on. You become friends later on, whatever. But if you were a Democrat and you lose, the party of acceptance then becomes the exact opposite. And they aren't about acceptance. They're about hate. and violence and crazy rhetoric and ignorance and just so much stuff. So there's a podcast called I've Had It. And the lady that runs the podcast, her name is Jennifer Welch. And apparently it's pretty popular. I've never heard of it. But apparently it's like very big. And she had a former White House, somebody under Biden administration on there as a guest. And she was talking about the Republicans and the right side and Trump and his cronies and whatever. And she called Stephen Miller a Nazi Jew. I don't even know if that's even a real thing. Like, how can you be a Nazi Jew? But
yeah,
she called him a Nazi Jew. And it was like, when you see these things about Charlie Kirk being shot, Trump trying
you
to
don't actually watch that podcast, do you?
No. This was just something I was just, like I said, I don't want to be caught off guard by you when you come on and try to surprise me with something. So I look at everything. So when you say, do you know about this? I can make, yes, I do. So I want to be aware of those things. So I was just reading about it. I do not watch that. But when you see that and you see like Charlie Kirk was murdered, Trump, they tried to murder him 3 times. And you're like, why is this happening? Why are these riots happening? Is all this crazy stuff happening? And it's because of legacy media and the Democratic side going out there spewing constant hate, Nazi, Hitler, homophobe, racist, all this kind of stuff. And it's relentless. You're hoping to engage somebody. You want somebody, a listener, a watcher, a follower. I really believe they're hoping that somebody in their audience, whether it be live in front of them or online or whatever it is, somebody is going to capture that moment and be like, they're talking to me. Do something about it.
Yep.
That's what I think they're hoping for. So, like, they're not stopping. Whenever the election was such a beatdown and a mandate, I really thought that some of them would be like, okay, 10 years is enough. We need to stop. We need to back up. Different approach. I really thought it would be a different thing. I honestly believed that it was going to be a change. But they're doubling down. Even though their poll numbers are crap. Even though, like, everybody knows they're liars. They're doubling down and tripling down. They're just not stopping. And then you have this lady come out, and apparently they have millions of viewers every week on this show. And she's like an interior designer. She's not even like a political pundit. She's just a freaking interior designer. And she calls Stephen Miller a Nazi Jew. I'm just like, they are really hoping to grasp that person to go out and do the next crazy bullshit thing. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand what's happening. So, but
things are going crazy. But like I said, July 4th next year, everything's going to be fixed by then.
July 4th?
Yep. For the 250th celebration of this country, everything will be exposed.
Well, here's my thoughts. I guess this is my wrap up. You can do yours, but this is my thoughts, my wrap up. I don't care if this upsets you, if you're mad about this, you don't want to be my friend anymore. Not you, but the listeners.
You're good.
And the followers and my friends or even family. This is my opinion. If you cannot accept the successes that our president, who happens to be named Donald J. Trump, if you cannot accept the successes and the wins that he's had, the successes in Israel, the successes of all these countries and businesses investing in our infrastructure in our company or our country, and people are like, "Oh, it's not happening." It doesn't happen overnight. You got to rebuild stuff that you tore down. You got to remake it. So it's not going to happen right now.
Border under control.
So the border is at 99.9% closed. If you can't see that and acknowledge that it is being a success, and you, because of the name Trump, you cannot get on board with this, then you're the problem. You are the issue. It is not Trump. It is not ICE. It is not, it's you. You are the problem because you are weak and you're foolish and you're basically stupid. That's what I believe. If you don't like it, then suck it. Get over yourselves. You are not important. You're not that important. This country as a whole is important. And if you can't get on board and you agree with Pritzker and Newsom and all those other idiots out there that are like Pelosi's like, we'll arrest ICE agents. Like, shut the hell up. You $200 million system cheating hag. Like, shut up. I'm sick of it. Like, I'm a nice guy, but I'm so sick of the stupidity and the people that put up with the stupidity. And you're going to vote in a communist, socialist, Jew-hating, gay-hating mayor of the biggest, most powerful city in our country because you hate Trump. That makes you stupid. Not an individual. It makes you stupid. And if you vote for that, I hope you get what you vote for. And don't come asking for help. Cry wolf all you want. You're not getting help. And if somebody from the right side helps them out after they said they wouldn't, that will piss me off even more. So that's my 20 cents worth on that. So,
all right, I welcome that. I think that's good.
I'm watching so much of this stuff that pisses me off like that because it's so irritating.
All right, well let's move on to pretty much the same thing that you're covering there. Are we better off now than we were 9 months ago?
Yes.
And then we've got the closed border. We're blowing up drug boats out in the ocean, and these people that are like, oh, they need to arrest him. They need to have a trial. No, he's called this a war on terror, war on drugs. He's allowed to do this. You better believe he's got his T's crossed, his I's dotted. Don't be out there. These aren't fishermen out there on a boat. There's no fishing poles. One was even out of the 7 they've blown up, one was a semi-submarine. Then he made this off-the-cuff comment. He does more interaction with the press in these 9 months than Biden did for 4 years. And you can add in his 8 years as vice president. This president is taking questions. He's answering the questions. You don't like the answers, but he's giving you the answers to the questions.
And they're real questions. They're questions that he doesn't know is coming. They're not softballs or lollipops.
No, they're not scripted. They're not scripted. You're right. You're right. They're asking whatever they want, and he's like, "That's a stupid question. Here's the answer, but I can't give you the whole answer because I'm the president." And you can't know this information right now.
Yeah, I don't have
That's a stupid question. Why would you even ask me that? So we got the border closed off. And here's something that I found really interesting. Now, wait a minute. What gas prices? Gas prices are down. Gas barrel of oil is down.
Yeah,
People
like
are complaining.
55
I saw somebody complaining the other day on my Facebook feed about Trump opening up land in Alaska to drill for oil and complaining about the habitat and the animals that live there. I don't care about that anymore. What about the animals that lived here where I'm at? We kill deer all the time because they get them in the way of the roads, and we need the roads in order to transport people and goods and services from one place to another. So I don't. Should we desecrate the planet? No, but come on now, chill out a little bit. So here's something I found interesting. You wanna pull up that page for me? Thanksgiving. Walmart slashes Thanksgiving meal to under $4 a person. I'll read the first little bit of it. Walmart is cutting costs of its Thanksgiving meal basket to under $4 a person, $3 less than last year. $3 less. That's 40% cheaper. So they want to keep complaining. You can take it down now. They want to keep complaining about Trump. He's tearing down the White House. He's not tearing down the White House. Renovations have been going on at the White House over the entire 20th century. 4 or 5 different presidents did major renovations. One of them even gutted the entire White House to put in all new.
Because it was falling down. It was literally falling down.
I don't want him to call it the Trump ballroom. I want him to call it, what was that firefighter's name that was killed when they tried to assassinate Trump?
Oh yeah. I can't remember his name. It's like Springfield or something like that. Yeah. Name it after him.
Name it after him. Do something like Corey Comperator. So call it the Comperator Ballroom. Call it something that they cannot fuss about. I'm so tired of every. And here's how it is. I told somebody on one of my rebuttals on a Facebook debate that we were having. When you bitch about everything, then something that you do have a genuine bitch about that I might be able to relate to a little bit, I have to disregard completely because you bitch about everything.
Yeah. Agreed.
Everything that he does, he can't sneeze without you saying he's doing a line of coke. You can't. I'm just so tired of it, dude.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point. It's like if you hate everything I serve you, and then when you legitimately have a bitch about something, I'm not going to know or care because you complain about everything.
I can get on board with okay, are we sure that these boats are delivering drugs? Are we sure they're drug runners? Now, they did have 2 survivors that they gave medical aid to and returned to their country in Venezuela. And I heard one of the newscasters say, why didn't they prosecute those 2 if they were running drugs? Because it's a whole lot better to send them back to the country and say, look, they're blowing us up.
Yeah.
They're blowing us up.
I don't want to put them in an IR jail and pay through it with our taxes. And then go through a freaking 100 different trials and appeals.
I think it's more valuable to send them back as a witness to, look, I'm not running anymore. I'm not doing that anymore.
He's coming.
But my point was, I'd be willing to debate that. Is he not pushing the edge a little bit? And then Trump said something about, we pretty much got the sea locked down. Now we need to look at the land. Now you're kind of pushing it. And I'll have that debate with a liberal that says he's expanding his executive powers too much. But no, because you also think everything else he does is wrong. So you're not going to have an unbiased. This ballroom that they're doing is a wonderful thing that presidents in the past have wanted. It's a small part of the East Wing that they're rebuilding and doing. Dude, that entire everything but the White House is addition. It's not like they're destroying history.
Basically empty. And every president that has had anything go on at the White House has to be under a tent and outside. And if it's in the wintertime, then you got to have all these people drop across the freaking yard into these giant tents. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. It ruins the yard. It ruins all that stuff because they don't have a place to put them inside.
So I ran through a debate with somebody on one of my Facebook things about this particular East Wing thing. And this person I was debating with said they're even tearing down the First Lady's office and wing. I said, how dare you refer to the First Lady's wing? It should be first persons. Are you biased? She's like, oh my God, I can't do it. Whatever. That's the way that you all sound.
Yeah.
It's exactly the kind of rhetoric that we get back into any kind of debate point. So,
well, I'm
over it.
They were doing an interview with this group that was on No King's Day, and they interviewed this guy. He had a man bun, so I took zero of what he said to heart. But he's like, why are you protesting? And it was so scripted. And you could tell like he had got this out of the class at school. He was a college kid. Donald Trump is taking away our civil liberties and whatever. Like, okay, what do you mean by that? You caught me off guard. You don't even know what you're saying. You heard somebody say this. They were pissed
Talking
off.
Points.
So
Talking
points. Mad. But you don't even know why you're mad.
That's like every time one person says something, you can tell that there are talking points that have been handed out because they're all saying the same little quip, the same little thing. And it goes back to what I showed you from several years ago with the multiple news organizations reading off the same.
Yeah.
They think they had us fooled, and they did have us fooled for a long, long time. But people are awake. People know now.
And we're sick of it.
You mentioned the No King's Day. You know, Canada participated, right?
Yeah, did you? I saw your thing that said you have.
They went with no tyrants because they are actually under the King of England.
They're so stupid. People are
so stupid. What king?
I just don't understand people and their like. When do you stop following that person that maybe at one point you saw as a leader, whether in your circle, at your school, at your job, or somewhere that you believed was the leader? At what point do you go, I am not following this anymore? This is stupid. This is outrageous. This is crazy. I can't do it anymore. At what point do you think they ever get to that point, or do they just keep going? Because some of these people they're like,
and I was thinking about this the other day. Who do you say is really leading the Democrats right now?
Oh my God. I honestly don't know if they have one. I know what the polls say, like people who are
no, not the polls. Who are the outspoken left?
AOC, Gavin Newsom, Pritzker.
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Now let's realize that Bernie Sanders is from, what is it?
Maine.
Vermont, Maine,
or somewhere. Yeah.
Somewhere up there.
Vermont, yeah.
He's not a Democrat. He's an independent that sides with the Democrats.
Yeah.
Why is he an independent, not a Democrat? Because he believed in far left agenda that the Democrats didn't. So he has seen himself off. But now suddenly the Democrats are falling in behind him and his little VP, AOC, who might as well be an independent because she's not a Democrat. That's why I'm not a Democrat anymore, and I'm registered as a Republican. I didn't want to go independent because I want to participate in the primaries. So I went Republican. I just saw one of our female senators, state senator, Robin Webb from Kentucky, just switched her party from Democrat to Republican because she can't take it anymore. And I'm a Robin Webb fan, and I didn't vote for her last time because she was a Democrat. And I'm like, I can't side with the Democrats anymore. She has come over. I'd rather her have gone independent than Republican because the Republicans in Kentucky, I don't know, but I don't like Andy Beshear in Kentucky. Him running for president, I'm like, oh my God, that's like Manami in New York City.
No, he's an idiot that somehow's gotten away with it.
Yeah.
No, it's like, I used to say this at work sometimes. It's a ship of fools and the captain's an idiot. Like, they don't know where they're going. They don't even know what they stand for other than we don't like Trump.
Yep.
That's it.
And I was leading to this. I really believe that there are a lot of Democrats that are still Democrats that still have an ideology that leans to the left, but it's not hard left. They don't have a voice anymore because they're being drowned out by the extreme radical left. I'm interested to see how these off-year elections go next week. And if we finally get the Republican voice back, or at least the center-right voice back. I'm not supporting Republicans because I don't believe in the extreme of the Republican agenda. But most Republicans don't agree with the extreme of the Republican agenda either.
True.
Trump is not an extreme Republican. Not even close.
Do you think, I'm sure the answer is yes, but I don't know what percentage. What is the number, or do you think the number would be that some of these people, like, say, AOC, because she wasn't crazy like she is now when she came out. What?
Nah.
I mean, she was, but not like this. Like, she's crazy. At what point do you think they say so much and they argue and they bitch so much about stuff that they can't turn back?
They're already there.
You're so committed. Now you can't. You can't stop yourself.
Those leaders are already far too committed. And here's and I don't know why I can't get to this point. I keep trying to. The extreme hard left, the extreme, are mentally ill.
No,
they're mentally ill.
Yeah.
They're mentally ill. They are so stuck in their groove. They can't come out of it. They can't get out of the rut. They can't look at things logically. I need to look up this debate point that I made with somebody on my Facebook not long ago.
Okay, because after this one, I'm going to cut you off because we're over our time. So I know this has been a great talk, but we are definitely over our allotment.
Well, this isn't. I believe there are investigations we are unaware of, but will be exposed probably early next year. I believe this country will be moving along the healing process by the 4th of July, 250th year celebration. That's my hope. And here, this was getting to what your point was about. Where are the voices? Because the extreme left can't come out of the rut that they're in. They're stuck there. They're never going to be able to come back. Somebody put a smart-ass comment on a WSAZ post. Seems like a lot of Trump University alumni here. Because there were a whole lot of comments from people that were... WSAZ, our local NBC affiliate, is clearly extreme left. They promote a lot of extreme left talking points. And I commented, and I thought it was pretty reasonable. I think it's just a bunch of people who remained quiet and respectful for the last 10 years and have grown tired of the lies and the rhetoric. The Democrats could simply vote to approve the continuing resolution and keep the government open while debating the final resolution. And that's what it boils down to. People have remained quiet. They didn't want to get into the fight. They didn't want to disrupt the family dynamics because they got some liberals, some conservatives. But it's all been exposed now. And that's what it's all been about, is exposing what the truth really is. And I think that's where we're going. I think we're getting there.
I hope so. I hope so, because I don't know how much we can take, or I can take mentally, of more AOCs without someone willing. Like John Fetterman is about to be, what does he have, another year left before his re-election campaign is up or starts or whatever?
He was elected as a senator, so his is a 6-year run.
6 years, okay, so he's halfway through it. At this pace, he's not going to get reelected because they've already abandoned him, because he actually stood up against them. They were already talking about him being crazy, his stroke has affected him or whatever, because he is not jumping on their bandwagon. And I was the one that was outwardly saying you need to elect Dr. Oz because Fetterman is a vegetable. Well, he was.
And he was at the time.
Yeah.
And they defended him.
So you are the party of inclusion. You are the party of acceptance. As long as you 100% agree with what we tell you to agree with. Say what we want you to say. Believe what we want you to believe. If you don't, you're out. We're going to blackball you. We're going to ostracize you. You're going to be nothing. So
RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Karine Jean-Pierre, they've all left Democrat Party. Those were stalwarts. And they can say what they want about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. They can even say what they want about Tulsi Gabbard. Karine Jean-Pierre was the spokesperson for Biden, and she jumped ship. Yeah. Now, she's still doing her little interviews because she's got her book tour out defending. But
she left.
You left the party. Right.
And there were others. Donald J. Trump. Elon Musk.
He was the original.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, it's so
mind-boggling.
It's so crazy. Like, people are so, like, God, you've lost your effing minds. It's amazing to me. And I don't even really have the conversations with people much, because the ones who are like that, they cannot see past themselves. They cannot get out of their own way. They cannot fathom that they
think
wrong.
We are the idiots.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And there is no way around the fact that there is a smidgen of a chance that they can be wrong. They cannot have that.
Yep.
They cannot have that. So
agreed.
It's I think that America's going to be great because we have 3.25 years left of Donald Trump, and I think as long as we can continue on this path, hopefully when some of the financial stuff starts happening, because you can't fix a problem in 8 or 9 months that was broken on purpose over 4 years. So you can't just say, oh, we're going to start making product A here if you don't have a plan to do it. You got to build it because they tore it down. So I'm hoping that in the next year or so, we start seeing some of that come in and people start seeing it. So the ones who are on the fence realize.
I respect that, but I think it's got to happen by, and I told you my date, July 4th next year. If it's done by July 4th and we win, and by we, I say American patriots win the November midterm elections, and that's what needs to happen. We need to get 60 senators or at least 58 Republican senators, and we'll get 2 Democrats on everything at that point. We're not getting it now. The shutdown is the Democrats' fault. I don't care what anybody says. They could reopen and then renegotiate these deals that they want to make. And I know you're ready to cut this down. You know, something that bothers me about this whole government shutdown and the medical costs that people are going to succumb to the high rates of their insurance, their health insurance, right? Do you realize that Obamacare is what has caused this?
Yes. Yes. Jimmy Fallon, who is on Fox Saturdays, he has his own radio show on Fox. His wife last year or 2 years ago had to have her appendix removed. So they had to opt out of Obamacare so they could afford to have her appendix out so he could pay for it out of pocket. Because it was like triple the cost if he used his insurance through Obamacare to save her life. So he paid for it out of pocket and he saved like 70%.
It's a damn shame, man.
And
it's a shame we have allowed the medical industry to take over and control the costs. Obamacare hasn't helped. All we're doing is subsidizing people's insurance with taxpayer dollars. That's not how it was supposed to go. And I think everybody should have medical insurance.
I think they said that so far in 2025, insurance companies have made $900 billion from Obamacare.
That's ridiculous.
Billion.
And that number should be zero.
So it makes me understand why they're fighting so hard for it. Because do you think that all $900 billion was kept by the insurance companies? Or how many of these people that are voting for that same part of that bill, how much are they getting back? How much are they taking in as their own? Like, wow, if I say no, then there's 8 million or 10 million or whatever. That's a drop in the bucket compared to 800 billion. So like, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot. So I'm not giving anything. So all these Democrats are holding up this government shutdown because they're the ones who are going to take a loss financially. They don't give a shit about the people. They don't care about the military or the government employees that are not being paid. They don't care about that. Do you know that last week they have a picture of the Democrats in some high-rise restaurant on top of a building, partying, drinking, having like a siesta, whatever. It's happy hour, big party. While the government shut down, they're all out there drinking, having a big old gathering. I'm like, because you all don't care. It's not about your people. It's about you and having power.
It is all about political talking points.
Yeah.
And it's all about how the Republicans are keeping the government closed because they won't meet our demands. Well, what is it called when you demand something? I can't think of the word I'm looking for. You're trying to entrap me into saying yes to this so you can get that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
This is the exact same bill they voted for in September that are not voting for now.
So. Right. It's a continuation to keep the government open. They chose not to do it. And then they're going to bitch about all the people that aren't getting paid, and they're going to blame it on the Republicans when it's actually, you won't do the continuing resolution. You want this thrown into the continuing resolution. And that's that's bribery is what that is. Maybe that's the word I was looking for.
And I, for one, don't want you taking 1 cent of my money, my tax money, to give to somebody who is breaking the law to be here illegally. And if you can't,
well, and then the claim is that they're not getting federal funds for that, but that's not the point. The federal funds are going to the state of California, and then the state of California is putting the funds into another part that is absolutely giving money to illegals.
They're giving them to all these different NGOs that are then supplying the money, plus they're keeping their cut. It's the same thing. You're just calling it a different name.
Widespread corruption, man. Yeah. I think it's all going to be exposed. I do. I think I think. Did you see what's his name? There was another government official from the Biden administration that was brought up on charges last week or early this week. We've already got Comey. We've got Letitia James, and this was that dude that looks like a skeleton dude. He was brought up on charges. It's all going to be uncovered. People are going to see it.
And then once it comes out, say it comes out on Monday of this week, then we got to wait until 6 months from now for people to actually accept some of it. Because, the left is be like, well, he's a racist. He said grab him by the P word, and he has been married 3 times or whatever. They're not, they're not going to care at first until their people start saying, we're not voting for you anymore. That's what it's going to take for them to stop being who they are. So,
yep.
All right. We are literally 45 minutes over our time.
Way over.
So, anyway, we are fully dressed. That's our rookies. I am Duck. We appreciate you all watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. Please keep following. Let us know what you're talking about. We're going to have more guests. We're going to have Hicks come back when he's not driving. He is a great, I want to say conversationalist. He has a lot of great talking points. He's very
okay. Bring this up for 3 seconds. If Hicks, I want to know if you watched this entire show. If you watch the entire show, then you let me know.
He's going to hate you. All right, I'm taking it down like right now. All right. We appreciate you all so very much. Rookies, it was a blast. Thanks for doing it again. This is episode 6. We'll be back next week for episode 7. So God bless America. God bless you and your family. God bless our president. And may you be blessed beyond measure. We'll see you very soon and very often. And peace out.